2 big wins to end the league season. Musa and Sesco against Köln, and we dominated Bremen to seal the title by 12 points. Now it's all about Dortmund in the Pokal Final. Let's finish strong and take the domestic double.
Episode number 42 of Red Bull KloppBot here on Sean Does FM with Leipzig. Hope you're doing well and you had a good Christmas. And coming up today, we're going to wrap up our first full season here with the DFB Pokal Final. Hopefully, can pick up the domestic double as we take on Borussia Dortmund. Also go through stuff like the end of season review as well. Here's the Red Bull review to make sure the KloppBot still wants us here for another season, or if he's going to ship us off to one of the other Red Bull clubs. So if you're looking for all that coming up in today's episode, then do make sure to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, all that good YouTube stuff. But a couple of days ago, at the Champions League semi-final against Manchester United, if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Unfortunately, after doing so well to get things back to all square late on in the second league, Anthony, of all people, went and stuffed that one up, which was a bit weird. Also, Onana was quite good in the first leg, so it was a little bit weird, that one. We'll see if the game's truly bugged if they go on and beat Real Madrid in the final, but it does mean that we've just had a couple of meaningless games off the back of that episode leading in to this DFB Pokal Final, considering during the course of that episode we actually beat Dortmund with pretty much a full rotation to seal the Bundesliga title. That was the game there which did give us some confidence going in to that second leg, where unfortunately Anthony in the 94th minute scored that goal. But 2 games since then, really just keeping some players fit and resting them when needed. Picked up a 3-1 win over Cologne, a double there to Musa, and also Benjamin Sesko made his way back into the team off the bench, and he picked up a goal in this one before he took on Werder Bremen. Goals there to Simons, a double to Sesko this time off the bench, and Almas late on. So Benjamin Sesko working his way back to full fitness during the course of those last couple of Bundesliga games, which does mean he can start a full one in this DFB Pokal Finals. Hopefully it'll prove quite useful for us here as we take on Borussia Dortmund. But given the team we put out in the middle of the last episode, you'd like to think we might be able to beat them anyway, because that team over there on the left-hand side, a lot weaker than the one we'll be putting out for this DFB Pokal Final. But hopefully we can get the job done over Borussia Dortmund. Also, in terms of news around the league in general, Bayern Munich have sacked Vincent Kompany. We'll go over here to the news, and it should hopefully still be there somewhere. We'll go down there further, because it didn't happen too long ago. You can kind of tell by the fact that Bayern are considering good old Thomas Tuchel in this game. Dahm, of course, Matthias Dahm, as a leading candidate to take over there. But Bayern Munich, they did sack Vincent Kompany off the back of not picking up the Bundesliga. There's the official news item there. So yeah, that was interesting there. I'm not too sure if Bayern Munich, to be fair, did win a trophy this season. That might be the reason that they did get rid of Kompany. We'll just check if they won the Super Cup maybe at the start of the year, go all the way back up to the top. They did beat Bayer Leverkusen for the Super Cup, so technically they did win a trophy, but that wasn't enough, seeing as we thrashed them by about 12 points in the Bundesliga. We'll just go back to the league and show you guys how much that was from. Currently, Hertha Berlin look like they'll be getting promoted to the Bundesliga, while Holstein Kiel go down to the 2 Bundesliga. But indeed, a 12-point win for us there over Bayern Munich. Dortmund, a further 3 points behind Bayer Leverkusen, snagged that last Champions League spot. And to be fair, big get back to Eintracht Frankfurt and Hoffenheim, who will be in the Europa League next season, and Werder Bremen, they will be in the Conference League. Heidenheim and Union Berlin are the teams guaranteed to be going down. So that's how things finished there in the Bundesliga. Benjamin Sesko, top goal scorer. A couple of players there in terms of the highest rating, just behind Michael Elise. We had Kudus and Sesko. Man of matches, Sesko was up there. Most clean sheets, that was Restes. Kudus was third on the most assists, and Martel third on the most yellow cards. Be fair, that's expected with a ball wing midfielder. So a very good season for us there in the Bundesliga. Apparently, we don't hold the title yet, but the league's over and we definitely do. So with the champions of the Bundesliga as well as the UEFA Super Cup and that European South American Challenge thing that we did participate in off the back of our Europa League win last season, hopefully we can make it a quadruple as we do take on Borussia Dortmund. This is a team we've taken on plenty of time so far this season. Played them in the Champions League, as well as our usual meetings against them in the Bundesliga. So we've ran through this team quite a few times already. That looks pretty similar to what it has been previously. So hopefully we can get the best of them, especially because the only recent loss did come in that game against us, where we did steal the Bundesliga title. So hopefully we can pick up the domestic double here at RB Leipzig for our first full season in charge. And if we stay, go on and mount a big Champions League challenge For next season, in terms of injuries going to this game, obviously Benjamin Sesko's back. Udrago not quite back from that injury he picked up off the back of the second leg of that Manchester United semi we play in the Champions League today, so he's not available on the bench. But be fair, we've got players who can step in for him currently. That'll be Diaz, and unfortunately Robert Ramsak's out with a fractured toe. Of course, he was really good for us while Sesko was out, but thankfully now he's back. We can rely on our top two guys in Sesko alongside Marban. So a couple of fringe players out there, but thankfully won't impact us at all in terms of our starting lineup for this DFB Pokal Final. So hopefully we can get the job done here with no excuses and complete that domestic double in this DFB Pokal Final. And here are the team sheets for our first DFB Pokal Final here at RB Leipzig. It's our first choice 11, but we do have Simon in goal. Of course, we did sign him and tell him he'd be our domestic cup goalkeeper. We better play him, to be fair. His recent form probably a little bit better than the rest is off the back of that first leg of the Champions League semi there with Dortmund. They're also going with a 4-2-3-1, so two very similar formations here for this final. Hopefully we can beat them yet again and pick up that domestic double. And just shot the 20-minute mark at the first highlight of this game, a corner here which Almas puts near post for Jadon Oosterwolde, who beats the Kobel at the near post. It's a dream start, taking a little while, but the first highlight, we put away Almas there, picks out our left back's head there at the near post. Hopefully he'll stay around next season, because currently a bit of interest in him from clubs like Liverpool's not too sure if he actually wants to stay here, but thankfully he opens the scoring.
Yeah.
Albeit now Almas will be forced from the field with an injury, so it's a bit of a blow off the back of that assist. Musa can come on, to be fair, has been in pretty good form, as you saw recently in the Bundesliga. Picked up a double, I think, in that game where we beat Cologne 3-1, but that's not ideal. Almas falls from the field early, but off the back of helping us take a 1-0 lead. And it looks like that might be the only highlight there of the first half, as well as that injury that we did suffer to Almas, who picked up the assist. But the Oosterwolde header so far is the difference maker. But in terms of the overall stats, we're definitely a team here on the front foot with a 1-0 lead so far. Dortmund just one shot, it was on target. We've had 10, only 3 on target. So hopefully can get that ratio up in the second half. We'll play things safe, take off Oosterwolde there for David Round, but pretty happy with that first half. Hopefully can grab a cushion goal here in the second and lift that DFB Pokal currently with a 1-0 lead. And a very early highlight here in the second half, a corner in our favour. We try to go near post there. Unfortunately, I think that was Pruddy does head that one away, but thankfully we get the ball back there. Costello starts to make his way forward. Almost looked like he was eyeing up a shot there, but thankfully opts for the pass instead, because probably not the play you want taking a shot there. Our centre back looking for Magno, who unfortunately there didn't quite get the ball, but then Clemens brings down Musa. Now, to be fair, I'm pretty sure Clemens was on the right side of the ball there. Not too sure if this should be a penalty, but it's being given. Musa absolutely making the most of that. The American, he can get an Oscar for that, but it does mean Benjamin Sesko now with a chance to make this 2-0. But in another final, he's hit his penalty save. To be fair, that one a lot better than what he dished up in the Europa League last season, but it does mean we are still only 1-0 in front, and unfortunately can't find him there at the near post from that corner. Thankfully, Martel, good tackle there on Bino Giddens, but big chance for us there to grab that cushion goal. Still only 1-0 up. And we've now made our way 10 minutes into the second half, and a couple of players haven't improved since half-time on some average ratings. Malhero on a 6.4, so as now can come on him and Sesko down to a 6.1 off the back of that penalty miss. So unfortunately, his return not quite as grand as I was hoping. Marban can come on him, but thankfully, still a goal in front with a half hour left. And we're just snuck away into the last 15 minutes of this game, and I feel like now's a good time for us to make our final sub. It's been a very quiet second half, apart from that penalty miss from Sesko, but we've got a few players out there on red hearts, but the worst rating out there, actually Tallis Magno at left wing. The sub for him currently would be Diaz. We're using him there currently with that injured. Udrago is a bit better than someone like Nico Paz, and to be fair, he did a pretty good job starting while Sesko was out as well as Marban. So we'll try Diaz there at left wing late on in this game. With our final sub now make our way into the final 10 minutes of this one. A late highlight here, and Diaz is on the ball. Fresh legs, let's see what he can do there down our left hand side. Cuts in nicely before a long range effort, but unfortunately that one safely at Kobel. That was a little bit of a waste of time highlighting. Now with 5 minutes left in this one, I think it's time for us here to start time wasting just a little bit, get the goalkeeper to slow the pace down and also be more disciplined. Apart from that though, shouldn't need to do too much late on here in this game stats wise, being completely dominant.
Yeah.
But now this will make things interesting. Xavi Simons will be forced from the field with an injury. That'll take us down to 10 men. Now to be fair, central attacking midfielder, that's probably the position you'll want to lose someone in late on in a game when you are defending a 1-0 lead. So Simons will be forced from the field. We're down to 10 men here late in this game. Hopefully, though, our time-wasting things, they will work. But we're about to make our way to the last 10 seconds here of regular time. Unfortunately, Seaman didn't quite pump that one deep enough. And Sola gets that ball back there for Dortmund. Marlon will pull that one back there for Matteo Platti, who will put that one away maybe. Should have time wasted frequently with that injury and going down to 10 men. Dortmund absolutely steal a goal there late, and that will probably see this game go to extra time. Now, hopefully, we can bring someone on like Ben Seguir going into extra time, go back to 11 players. To be fair, it's a great finish, but I dare say that injury has helped them score a goal there late. Borussia Dortmund, because up until then, they were up to very little. We had lots of chances. Of course, Cisco early in the second half put the penalty away, and we're not worried about extra time. But unfortunately, we are going into that now off the back of that late Dortmund goal, and we can't bring on Ben Seguir because there's no extra subs and extra time. So this is actually really bad for us now. We're playing the rest of this game with only 10 men. That is not ideal. Obviously, as well, going to turn off that time-wasting stuff we started doing going into the last couple of minutes of that game, but that's a bit of a dagger blow there. No extra subs going to extra time, so we are stuck with only 10 men on the field off the back of that late Dortmund goal. And it's been a very quiet extra time period so far. No highlights, just about to make our way here into the last 5 minutes. So we're definitely still the team on the front foot. Obviously, Dortmund getting a few more chances now that they're playing against 10 men.
Yeah.
And just as we're about to make our way into the penalty shootout, we're going to lose another player. Adam is now at right back, will be forced from the field. We're going down to 9. Seriously, Dortmund, if you don't beat us here, what is going on with you? Now, we have to shuffle things up here. We can't make any subs, as we found out going into the extra time period. So Martel can do a job at centre back. Let's just see if Raum can kind of play right back. He can. So what I'm going to do here is move Martel to centre back, Luke Haber to left back, and David Raum out to right back. Also, Yunus Musa as a ball-wing midfielder on defend. Also, let's just pull back here our wingers, put them onto support, just to make sure that Dortmund hopefully don't score a goal against only 9 men, not through red cards, but through injuries. Also, we probably should actually start time wasting quite frequently with this situation, because I feel like I'm getting pretty royally screwed in this game, and a bit more unfairly than what happened against Manchester United in yesterday's episode. Thankfully, we hold on for the remainder of extra time, but it does mean this one is going to a penalty shootout, and we've only got 9 takers. Thankfully, the likes of Kudus and Marban and Diaz do look like they'll be quite decent. Taking off Cisco might have been a mistake in hindsight, but obviously he's already missed one. So let's sort out this order. We'll keep Kudus up top, then go with Marban and Diaz. We've got some players there with quite good composure, but who aren't very good at finishing or taking penalties. So Musa, he can go fourth, but then things get a bit more interesting. David Raum, I guess, is a bit better than someone like Dennis Simon, who's quite high up, but can't finish to save his life. So I think our last penalty taker, if we just need 5, that'll be David Raum. Then probably looking at someone like a Luke Haber ahead of a Martel. But to be fair, Martel is a bit better at taking penalties. So now we're just going into an interesting area here. Luke Haber, we might go with based on composure. Then Martel, Diamonde, and Simon can be our final penalty taker. We'll just here put the hands together, tell the guys to relax, then pump them up individually. Hopefully that'll work. I think it's worked before for me in most penalty shootouts here in FM. And also, let's just sort out the camera angle here so we get it the right way around for the entire shootout. Vertical scrolling and get this bad boy zoomed in nicely. And indeed, we should be good to go here for the penalty shootout in this DFB Pokal Final. First up, Mohamed Kudus, who thankfully sends Kobel the wrong way, puts it top left corner. We're off to a good start. Next up, it's Golasai here for Borussia Dortmund. Let's see what he does here from the spot. Simon goes the wrong way. It's pretty much the same penalty, but he kept us on the ground. 1-1 after the first. The shooters next up for us, Uzil Marban brought him off for Cisco off the back of the penalty that he missed. I'm pretty sure Kobel here has gone early, but apparently it's fine. And Marban has his penalty saved, so we're behind here unless Ben Sabini's pen does get saved from Simon. And thankfully, it was straight down the middle, and Simon comes up with a save, so it's still a square here at 1-1, but off the back of 2 from each team now. Young Diaz steps up next for us. Nice finish, that one. I think Kobel got pretty close there, but just too much power and great placement there from the young Brazilian to make it 2-1. Next up, it's Marlon for Borussia Dortmund. Simon that time not quite as agile as on the previous one. I say that, It was pretty much down the middle, wasn't it? But still, can't pull off the save. Still locked up here at 2-2. Yunus moves off the bench. He sends Kobel the wrong way and makes it 3-2. Let's see what's up now for Dortmund. It's going to be Ozkan who steps up. Can he beat Simon, or will he put us on the verge of a DFB Pokal Final win straight down the middle again and comes up with a save? So Simon just loves staying where he is, and to be fair, that's worked pretty well for us so far. So a chance for us here now to win this thing. If David Raum can put this away, definitely. Probably not the player we wanted to take this with those injuries we've suffered. Xavi Simons would have been really handy. Kobel didn't get to it, but it comes off the crossbar. So a chance here for Dortmund to extend this one. And given we were down to 9 men, that would make things a bit iffy. It's going to be Pluddy here for Dortmund, the man who scored the equaliser late on in this game. But Simon goes the right way, makes the save. Dennis Simon with an absolutely heroic performance for us there in the penalty shootout. And despite the fact we went down to 9 men late on in that game through no fault of our own, apart from maybe making a sub, and we didn't need to there. Talis Magno coming off for Diaz. To be fair, we still would have gone down to 10 men even if we did that one, because then we wouldn't have been able to bring on the sub for as now in extra time. But a couple of injuries, which meant we went down to 10 and then 9 men. To be fair, not for too long at the end of regular and extra time, but thankfully we find a way to fight through that and win a penalty shootout. Simon comes up with 3 big saves, and we lift the DFB Pokal go alongside the Bundesliga, and of course those 2 pre-season trophies in the UEFA Super Cup, as well as that Euro South American Club Challenge thing. It's a quadruple for us here in our first full season at RB Leipzig, off the back of that penalty shootout win in the DFB Pokal Final over Borussia Dortmund. And only a couple of clicks forward from that penalty shootout win there in the DFB Pokal Final. We have our end-of-season review here for our first full season at RB Leipzig. There's that quadruple. We picked up the Bundesliga, DFB Pokal, UEFA Super Cup, and of course that Euro South American Challenge thing. I say of course, it's just a random plate, but that's pretty much the state of that competition. Unfortunately, no Champions League title as well, but still, that's a really good first full season here at RB Leipzig. Hopefully, it will go a few better next season, and we can pick up that Champions League if we're going to stay here. Still waiting, actually, for that Champions League final to get played. But here are all our transfers in this season. Most of them did perform well. Lots of them up there near the top with green ratings, and the best of them was the most expensive. Mohamed Kudus came in as the Openda replacement once Everton triggered his release clause, 108 million. That was all up. It shouldn't have been that much up front. For some reason, the game decided other ideas. Wouldn't have signed him actually if I knew it was going to be that much up front, but thankfully the board chipped in. We signed him, and he had a very good season. Was actually one of our better performers in that second leg against Manchester United. 13 goals, 13 assists, and 47 appearances. He picks up the signing of the season. Also quite good was Diaz. Hopefully can give him more game time here next season, because he is very promising. Stepped up in lots of different positions late on in the season due to injuries. Also good ratings there for Simon, of course, off the back of that penalty shootout win that he did help us pick up. I would have thought Simons might be up there for signing of the season, considering that was on a free, 13 goals and 9 assists. Also in the green, Restes, our first choice goalkeeper, just go back up there because that took an absolute age for that one to go down like I was hoping. Also Marban picked up the next gen this year. He's certainly a great backup in behind Sesko. His goal scoring in the cup competitions a lot better though than it was in the Bundesliga. Also we picked up Diamonde, pretty good season apart from the first leg of that Champions League. Semi Musa was decent. Bazunu didn't use him too much, and to be fair, he's already on his way to Saudi Arabia for next season with the addition of Dennis Simon. Salt came in late on, did a decent job off the bench. Malhero, pretty good job actually as our first choice right back, as now came in late and also did a decent job. Lewis Miley, probably didn't actually need to sign him, and that was also the case for Nico Paz. We'll see if they last past this next transfer window. Those might be a couple of ones that we do lose some money on, but lots of moves that we did make here this season with the KloppBot's help, and that's considering all the sales that we did make. Willie Orban, Benjamin Onleeks, Andre Silva, Christoph Baumgartner, Hugo Sakai, Batista Mendy, Yusuf Paulson, also in there someone who was out on loan from the club last year. Going down further, another couple of people who were down in our under-19s last year or out on loan. Openda Colwell, who left mid-season, that definitely gave us some room to sign some homegrown nation players for the back half of the season. Going down further, got rid of the likes as well of Nuhajada on a free, Martin van der Voort, and also Alex Mariba to RZ. Lots of players that departed the club. To be fair, I think it worked out pretty well, picking up the Bundesliga by 12 points. And also, we did loan out Kevin Keir halfway through the season. If we do lose Osterwalde, because he doesn't want to sign a contract extension, he could come back and work his way to being a very good first choice left back option. So we'll see what happens there with Osterwalde going into next season. But Kevin Keir probably gets a bit of game time here next season if Osterwalde does end up getting sold. In terms of the competitions, most of this is very nice reading for us here at RB Leipzig. Bundesliga, we saw this earlier, picked this up by 12 points. Only lost 4 games early on to Bayer Leverkusen. That one came somewhat out of nowhere, going down a bit further. And most of the other losses did come in the back half of the season, around times when we were coming back from international breaks. Lost to Bayern, not too much shame in that one. Freiburg, that was off the back of that Cisco injury on international duty in Eintracht Frankfurt. That was when we were resting players before that Manchester United semi-finals. To be fair, most of those losses, there were some pretty clear circumstances for those, but still all the other games, we did a really good job. 27 wins and absolutely wiped the floor with the rest of the teams here in the Bundesliga. We'll see if that will be the case next season when Bayern Munich do get a new manager. The European South American Club Challenge absolutely walked that during the pre-season over those guys over in Brazil. The UEFA Champions League, we did really well in this competition. Only one loss during the league phase to Newcastle, who we got revenge on in the quarter-final. But then that late Antony goal earlier this week did mean we missed out very late on there. In the semi-final, it's definitely the aim for next season to go a few better and pick up that Champions League. The Super Cup, a 1-0 win over Real Madrid. So that was a good start to the season alongside that other one that we did pick up. And DFB Pokal, to be fair, up until that final, that was pretty easy work. And thankfully, despite those injuries and lack of subs, we pick up the win there in a penalty shootout. So a quadruple from 5 competitions that we could play for this season is a pretty darn good job considering. Also made the semis of the Champions League. Moments to remember, our biggest win, 8-0 in DFB Pokal quite early on. That was against Altona away from home. The match to remember, apparently, our first league-based game in the Champions League, coming from a goal down to beat Arsenal at their stadium. And the goal of the season came in a Bundesliga game back in September, and it was scored by Mohamed Kudus in a 5-0 win over Augsburg. And here is the goal. It was a free kick. Unfortunately, actually still stuck there on the angle that we were using for that penalty shootout, but you get the drift of that one. It was a free kick from just outside the box. Pretty good at that one from Mohamed Kudus, and it does pick up our goal of the season. To be fair, around that time, he did score a couple of quite nice free kicks. Maybe there was one from longer range that they could have picked, but still 26 metres, not a bad effort. That gets our goal of the season. Going forward with finances, as you expect, considering we won everything and made the Champions League semis, these all go up, and our reputation also goes up to 4.5 stars. Hopefully that helps us sign some bigger, better players going in to next season. Top shirt sellers, Cisco, Kudus, Magno, and Aljif Almar. So a couple of new signings there in behind Benjamin Cisco, as well as Aljif Almar, who was here from the start as well. How we lined up for this season, Restes in goal, really good addition instead of Van der Voort as our first choice goalkeeper. The back four, Malhilo, Diamonde, Lukeba, and Osterwalde. That absolutely makes sense. That's what we went for the entirety of this season, injury permitting. Our defensive midfield, Martel and Almaz. That also makes sense. Kudus and Magno on the wings, those are our starters. Centrally up front, though, that's a bit interesting. They've gone with Bensegier over Simons, and very surprisingly, they've gone with Marban over Benjamin Cisco. Not too sure what Cisco's done wrong there, but apparently Marban had a better season. In terms of overall rating, Mohamed Kudus might be in line to pick up here the player of the season. Indeed, that is the case. Benjamin Cisco, though, young player of the season with a better average rating than Mohamed Kudus. So I think Cisco there might deserve to be in that team of the year over Marban. Not too sure what's gone on there. We'll just skip over the awards that we saw earlier. Top goal scorer was Cisco with 30. So definitely a bit perplexed there as to why he didn't pick, as to why he's not there over Marban. In that team of the year, the most assists, that was Kudus with 13. Cisco, most man of the matches. So yeah, a bit confused there why Cisco not in the best 11 for this season. Competition awards, only a couple of these have come through yet, but the German Footballer of the Year, that was Cisco, but Marban did win the next year. And also a couple of our other youngsters who are in our under-19s and out on loan were also in that list. I think overall about 5 people on the next gen, including the winner there in Marbar. Might be a few awards to come as well when the Champions League does wrap up. In the record breakers, Marbar most goals by a player in a match with 4. We've got Cisco, who picked up a hat-trick in a league match. Now we've got Kudus with the most assists in the season, Restes with the most clean sheets at 25, which is a big old number. Cisco most man of the matches in the season with 9. Worst discipline, that's Martel with 12 yellow cards. Thankfully, no red cards though. Highest transfer fee paid, obviously, that was Kudus. And our youngest goal scorer is now Uzil Marban at 18 years old and 145 days and going forward to history in the making. Apparently titles are won and lost in the heart of every season, and that was the case for us, and also a remarkable season. Began to pick up speed in the middle of the campaign. We are deservedly champions, to be fair. Also got off to a pretty good start, but to be fair, in the Bundesliga, we did take on some pretty rubbish teams for the first month or so of the season. So I think that helped us build up some confidence, and thankfully we were able to capitalise on that and pick up a number of trophies. And here is what the managerial timeline looks like. We'll just go back here and see when this does finish from last season. I think it was when Cisco was the top goal scorer last season. Signed a few players there in terms of high potential youngster and Diaz, and then our transfer record, which was on Kudus. We actually spent overall 231 million going into the start of the season before our win in the Super Cup as well, apparently, as a late dramatic win over Stuttgart in the Bundesliga. Going forward a bit further, we continued to make sales and spend quite a bit of money. Of course, some of that was off the back of that sale of Levi Colwill, so we signed a couple of young centre-backs to replace him. Also, we had Marban pick up the next gen for some reason. That's on there about 3 times. Bundesliga winners, where Restes picked up a ton of clean sheets. We also set a points record for the club and capped things off with that DFB Pokal win, where Marban was the top goal scorer with 9 throughout the campaign. So that's our end of season review here for our first full one at RB Leipzig. Just checking in also on the overall best 11. To be fair, not too sure how much of this we would have had a hand in, but it's Van der Voort in goal, Oosterwelde, Orban, Luke Caber and Onriks at the back, Gertrude and Schlager in the field. Those 2 players no longer here. I think both of them actually in the Premier League. Baumgartner and Simons in attacking midfield. So Simons makes his way there off the back of just 1 season. And up front, we've got Openda and Cisco. So really, that could be a 4-2-3-1, but for some reason, it's a 4-2-2-2, but still, it's a pretty darn good looking team there. The best 11 at RB Leipzig with quite a few of our players. And also, likes of Diamonde and Magno are already on the bench. But we'll go forward now and see who picks up the Champions League before running through the Red Bull review to make sure we're going to still be here for next season. And not quite so fast, because we're still waiting here for the Champions League final result, but a couple of clicks off the back of that end of season review, and finally get some awards coming through for the Bundesliga. Unfortunately, Kudus doesn't quite pick up the Players Player of the Year. That goes to Elise, but Kudus, a very close run second there with Sola from Bayer Leverkusen in third, but Cisco, top goal scorer of 20. He beats out Ekitiki there from Eintracht Frankfurt, and Harry Kane, of course, from Bayern Munich by just a couple of goals. Restes got the newcomer of the year with that 7.15 average rating and those 18 clean sheets. We managed to pick up the Players Manager of the Year, which was quite good, quite comfortably as well, over the managers from Werder Bremen and Jess Borup, and also Miroslav Klose from Hoffenheim. And the Team of the Year, we've got Restes Oosterwelde in there at the back, Martel in midfield, and Magno alongside Simons in attacking midfield. Somehow, Harry Kane's in there over Benjamin Sesko. We won't argue with it too much, but it does seem a little bit weird in terms of the Players' Team of the Year. It's pretty much exactly the same teams. Not too sure why we need 2 different versions of that Team of the Year, but indeed, a couple of our players there having a very good season. Sesko continues to get screwed out of awards just a little bit. Now we'll go forward and actually get that Champions League final result before that Red Bull review. And we've eventually made our way forward here to the end of May, which does mean finally the Champions League final it has taken place. So we can do here our Red Bull review. Obviously, things here at RB Leipzig are pretty good. Just one competition we did not pick up. That was the Champions League. Got knocked out in the semi-final by Manchester United, who unfortunately, or I say unfortunately, not really, they got beaten in the final by Real Madrid. So poor old Anthony couldn't get the job done there against a team with some proper European heritage. But Real Madrid, they pick up the Champions League with Kylian Mbappe, pretty much leading them there to that, which is quite interesting considering what's going on in real life. But Real Madrid did pick up the Champions League. We're obviously doing really well here at Leipzig, but of course the KloppBot needs to know about all our clubs. So next up, we go down a step and take a look at RB Salzburg, who it's fair to say had a bit of a terrible season off back of the departure of Pep Linders to Bayer Leverkusen. They miss out on the title there by 3 points to Rapid Wien, but it does still mean they're in the Champions League for next season. It might though mean they have to make their way into it through some qualifiers, otherwise they might be down in the Europa League or the Conference League. Didn't make their way out of the league phase of the Champions League and only finished as the runners-up in the Cup as well, so no trophies for Salzburg in Austria. A pretty disappointing season for those guys. Next up, we're off to Brazil to check out Bragantino, who off the back of picking up the Serie A in Brazil last season are still alive in the Copa Libertadores. They'll take on Corinthians in the second round. In terms of the state championship, which they also won last season, we'll just check this, but indeed they've picked that up for back-to-back seasons there with a win in the final over Santos. The back-to-back trophies there in the state championship for Bragantino. Just check out what's going on in the Cup. Unfortunately, they lost that Super Copa and got knocked out quite early in the Copa do Brasil. The more interesting thing comes though in the Serie A. They are struggling just a little bit, to be fair, not as much as I thought. They must just picked up a win in their last game in their title defence, but currently they're in 12th, so certainly struggling quite a bit compared to what they were doing last season. To be fair, Flamengo absolutely running away with the early stages of that, but it does look like Bragantino won't be retaining that Serie A, so a bit of mid-table mediocrity there for Bragantino, but to be fair, currently still on track to qualify for some continental football next season, considering how mad the qualification rules are there. In Brazil, next up we go to the MLS and check out New York, who yet again are having a little bit of an average season. Got knocked out there in the 5th round by Sporting Kansas City. I try not to smile at that one, but I can't help it because it's quite nice being an SKC fan myself. In terms of the MLS though, they're just outside of a playoff spot, currently in 10th there, joined on points with the New England Revolution, but to be fair, they do have a game in hand. Supporters Shield though, all the way down in 19th, so definitely struggling currently in the MLS and didn't do a good job either in the US Open Cup. And last up, we check out the first team we had in the save, Omiya Arudija, who these days are down in the J2. And to be fair, they're doing a much better job down here than they were in the J1 last season. They did get knocked out early in the AFC Champions League in the second round by the J1 team in Kawasaki Frontale. That's probably to be expected off the back of getting relegated last season to J2, but they are second in behind Saga and Tosu, looking quite good for promotion straight back up to the J1, and also still alive in both the J-League Cup and the Emperor's Cup. So a much better season here for Omiya Arudija. Hopefully when they go back up to J1, they can survive next time around. But off the back of all that information, the KloppBot decided we're going to stay one more season at RB Leipzig. So another chance for us here to win the Champions League with this Leipzig team. Hopefully that will be the case after going so close this season. Hopefully we can find a way to pick up all 5 trophies, replacing that European South American Club Challenge one with, of course, the DFB Super Cup. So to be fair, that might be a little bit more of a prestigious trophy to be winning, but hopefully next season we can continue to reign dominant here in Germany and also kick on a few more gears and pick up that Champions League title. But that will do it for today's episode. We pick up the DFB Pokal there in a dramatic penalty shootout over Dortmund and run through the end of season review and the Red Bull review as well. If you enjoyed that one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Next time I see you, we'll come back, run through our transfers, might also sneak in potentially that DFB Super Cup. Whoever that's against, you'd imagine it might be Bayern Munich because they finished second in the Bundesliga, but to be fair, it's a bit hard to tell with no other German teams picking up a trophy this season. So we'll come back, try and get off to a trophy winning start to the new season, and also run through the transfers that we have made. There's one big one that I'll keep to myself still until we come back for that next episode. So until then, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.